I just wanted to tell you guys what I have made in the first month of 2023. So, January started off very slow, very unproductive because I was still working on the sweater that I was making for my boyfriend for Christmas. Now, it was not done for Christmas, and it is not done now. Um, but I got it far enough that he can wear it, and it's like, somebody else wouldn't know that it's not done unless they looked on the inside and saw that I haven't even weaved in the threads. But, so, that was like the first 2 weeks of January. I was still just working on that, so I thought that this was going to be a really unproductive month for me. But at the end, it turned out pretty good. I have a little bit of a haul here of projects that I've been planning since like October, some of them. So pretty good. I'm glad I'm getting this stuff done. This stuff I've been really looking forward to having in my wardrobe, so this is very exciting. Chronologically, let's start with my boyfriend's sweater. It is super cute, and I just have some pictures of him wearing it here. It is like a jacket. It's a cardigan. It's my very first button down. So this is my first time attaching buttons and making buttonholes, and I had no pattern for this. Okay, I'm totally flying by the seat of my pants, and I think this is so, maybe dumb that I'm doing it this way because I've never done it before, so I'm just like guessing how it's meant to be done. Which again, like, I'm not doing these things technically correctly then, obviously, because I don't know how it's technically correctly done. But I am doing it in a fun way for me, so that motivates me, so it's like good. And I got to personalize the design, so there's like, personal significance to a lot of the designs that I chose. And so I'm really happy with it, especially as a gift. I think it's super cute. I'm aware of the sweater curse, but I made him pinky promise that he would not break up with me if I made him a sweater, so I'm not too worried. Can't go back on a pinky promise. And you know what? It's a month and a half after Christmas at this point. Nothing's happened yet, so yeah, so I'm really impressed with how that project went. This was also my first time doing color work. Okay? This was literally so many firsts. This was my first time doing pockets. This was my first time doing color work. This was my first time doing button downs, adding buttons. Yeah. But it came out really well. Like, I'm so happy with it, and actually I went into a craft store in the town that he's from, and he was wearing it, and the ladies at the craft store were being so nice to me. Literally my ego after that. I'm still not over it. Yeah, they were basically saying how I did such a good job on it, and they were so surprised that I didn't have a pattern, so this is just more further proof for you, like validating for you. Just do things the way that you like to do them. If you like to use patterns. That's what works for you, Love it. Okay, so then the next thing is what I used the yarn for that I got at the craft store. I made this cloud sweater. That's what I'm calling it, because especially the yarn before I used it, it looked like a cloud, because it's just this super fluffy white, wool mohair acrylic blend. So this is my first time ever doing raglan shaping the proper way. I have made a couple of raglan sweaters before, what I thought were raglan sweaters. They were not. It turns out raglan shaping means something quite different than what I thought it did. So, yeah. Those other sweaters were actually, like round yoke increased sweaters. And those were great too. Like the one I made for my boyfriend, that was a round yoke increase, or whatever you want to call it. So, this one, it did come out very short because I only bought one ball of yarn, but it was a giant ball of yarn, which is why it looked like a cloud. But, so, I just had to do what I could with that amount of yarn. Couldn't go back to get more. So, it ended up being like, it just covers the bust. I'll include a video. Anyway, and I didn't have enough for the cuffs at the end of the sleeves, so on camera and even in person you can't really tell unless you know to look, but the cuffs are actually cotton, so it's quite a different texture. But you know, because it's a different kind of stitch anyway, I don't think it's that noticeable. And well, I made a whole video about this sweater, so if you want to see more about the sweater, you can watch that video. It's called the Cloud Sweater. But yeah, it was also very, very, very easy. This was probably the easiest sweater I've ever made, just because it turns out raglan shaping is much easier than the way that I was doing it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend like a beginner project, beginner friendly, definitely. So next up, I made some bucket hats. This was my first one that I made, and like as you can probably see, it is quite large for me. But I made it for my boyfriend, and I thought that he probably has a bigger head than I do, even though I have a very large head. So I'm not actually sure that that's the case. It's still wearable like this. Like for me, I can wear it. It's not gonna fly off, you know. So we're all good with that. But this was my first attempt. Not my first attempt. This was my first success, I guess. I had tried to make a bucket hat before, and I had to give up because it was so bad. It was genuinely, yeah, there was no way that was going to turn out. I used just a free tutorial on YouTube. I don't remember which one it was, but it was basic bucket hat tutorial or something like that. If anybody else is interested, they're actually very easy. I don't know how I messed it up so bad the first time. But I wasn't using a tutorial, and I was just trying to figure it out from my head, and that was not possible. That was way above my pay grade. Yeah, so I made another one, and this one is for me, and it fits better. My head, it's a little, I still am not sure if I made the brim long enough, but I think it's fine. This looks quite nice. These are the same, these are both cotton, which I got on Amazon, and it's 80% recycled cotton and 20% recycled polyester. And I think it's really, well, it's really affordable, and that's why I get it. I've gotten this a couple times before, and I've made quite a few projects with it at this point. It works pretty well. It's not too dense of a fabric, as you'll see with my next project and with another cotton project I've made before when it's 100% cotton. Granted, the yarn I'm using for these other projects aren't probably meant to be used for clothing, but it comes out very canvasy, and this kind of yarn, it's not quite as thick, so it comes out a little bit more, there's a little bit of a better drape to it. But, you know, that totally depends on what you want for what project you're doing. So, but these are these, and I'm actually really happy with them. I do think they look very cute on. And I don't really like hats normally, so that is saying something. The last thing that I did this month, and this is kind of a lie. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It is kind of a lie. This project was started, it definitely was started in January. But did I finish it yesterday? Perhaps. So we're a little bit into January at this point, but that's totally okay. You know what? Because I was rushing to get it done for this video, and then it wasn't done, so I said, you know what, the video can wait. The people can wait. Here we go. It is a t-shirt made with lily sugar and cream, strawberry cream yarn, and this cotton at the bottom. It's the same as the hat. This hat plus all of this only used 2 balls of 100 grams of yarn, which I think is pretty good, to be honest with you. That's the other great thing about this yarn, is that it does stretch quite far. At least in my opinion, it gets quite far, so that's very nice. This, I also learned a lot of new techniques with it, okay? I learned how to do inset sleeves, which, that's an awesome skill. That's makes it look more like store-bought, which is good and bad. There's some, like, I do love a good raglan because that's more expensive looking in a way because there's no seams, But I also thought, like, for example, if I want a puff sleeve like I did here, it's not possible with a raglan. I mean, not in a good way. So this was great here. I got a bit of a puff sleeve going on, and I'm really happy with this, how all of this ribbing turned out, and especially with the v-neck, because I was really struggling to comprehend how to do a v-neck ribbing, because, you know, obviously, how does it join at the V? So anyway, but I did figure it out. It looks like this. I haven't weaved in the ends. Obviously, I finished it yesterday, and also I just hate weaving in ends, so I do push it as long as physically possible. And in fact, very few of my projects ever have all of the ends weaved in, so sorry about that. But anyway, looks like that. I think it looks really great. The fit is a little bit small, but it's wearable. It is wearable, it's fine. And I do wish that I'd made the ribbing longer so that it would have reached my waist. Now it's a little bit above my waist, which I think looks a little odd. But that's totally fine. And I am really happy with it. And I really like the yarn. This yarn was a Christmas present from my sister because I had seen on TikTok some projects with it, and I thought that it would look really cool, and I think it does. It exactly fits what I was hoping for. The sweater itself, the design, it did change quite a lot from the original design. I'll include a picture of that, my original design from October. But I am still, I think it ended up being better than what I was originally planning, because this, maybe you won't see it the way that I do, but I'm kind of getting like a 70s vibe from it. And I've looked up like 70s sweaters to try to get some like confirmation of this, that it does look kind of 70s. And it does. I think it's because it has the long ribbing section. I feel like that might have been more of a thing, like especially with vests in the 70s, I'm not sure. And, you know, funky colors and whatever. Funky. These are my creations for January. I hope that you liked them. I do, again, have a video for this cloud sweater if you're interested in that, seeing how I did that. The other things, I couldn't tell you, honestly. As soon as I'm done with the project, it's out of my mind. And so, I do hope that if you really liked any of these things, then you'll be able to figure it out as well for yourself. These are just, you know, it's not too anything too advanced. I use mostly only half double crochets for everything, so you can probably figure it out. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This was an absolute pleasure to talk to you today.